Hi, I'm Steven, and I'm going to be demonstrating a standardization of NaOH using a KHP. So the materials that we're going to be needing for this experiment is a burette, some clamps, a waste beaker for the NaOH, an Erlenmeyer flask, and in this case we're going to be using KHP as our primary standard, as well as our analyte. We're also going to be needing to use a stir bar, and we're going to be using phenolphthalein as our indicator. NaOH in this case is going to be our titrant, and we're also going to be using deionized water. And just to make things easier, I'm going to be using a funnel and another beaker for NaOH. So the first step in this experiment is to wash out the beaker with NaOH, just to clean it out of any impurities. You don't want to use too much NaOH in this step, because the intention is just to clean it out, and that was actually a little too much. So what you're going to do is just put your thumb at the top of the burette so it doesn't, so none of the NaOH can fall out, and just try and clean the sides of the burette on the top and the bottom. So once you do that for just a little while, put it back onto the clamp. And empty it into your waste NaOH beaker. Alright, and we're going to be doing this clean out twice. Alright, so after you cleaned out your burette twice with NaOH, you're going to put in the NaOH that you're going to be using in your titration. In this case, we know that for each run through, you're going to be using approximately 15 milliliters of NaOH. So what I'm going to be doing is filling it up to the 30 mark, which is going to be about 20 milliliters. And I'm actually going to go slightly over the 30 mark and go to about 29 and a half, and make the NaOH run through and go down to the 30 mark. And the reason for this is because there's going to be an air bubble right here at the tip of the burette, and if you have that and measure out 30 mils, the NaOH that's going to be in here is going to affect how you read your burette. So just very slowly watch the meniscus, which is the bottom of the liquid, and make sure your meniscus hits the 30 mark. And so now you have your NaOH in your burette, and now you're ready to go weigh out how much KHP you're going to be using.
Hey, I'm John. We're weighing out some KHP. There are two different methods you can use. The first one, you can use some weighing paper. What you do is fold it diagonally. And then we can go ahead and just place this in the balance. Now we want to tare it. Okay, So in this experiment, we need about 0.3 grams. So we're going to go ahead and turn this. Okay, that's good. And then you can directly pour this into your Erlenmeyer. A second method is we can go ahead, tear the Erlenmeyer directly onto the balance. Tear. And then measure out 0.3 grams. Okay, and just make sure you record the weight, and then let's go ahead and go back to titrating. Okay, now we need to dissolve our KHP in about 50 mL of water. Okay, and we can just pop a stir bar in. That nicely dissolved. Okay, now that the KHP is dissolved, we need to check our initial volume of our titrant. So we want to read the bottom of the meniscus. To make sure that we've reached the equivalence point, we add a couple of drops of phenolphthalein. Okay, and now we can go ahead and titrate. Okay, so once we know it's about 50, we need about 15 mils, and so as we get closer to 15 mils, we can go ahead and slow down the rate of how quickly we put the titrant in. So you can see it starting lingering pink color at the bottom. Okay, so since we know that we're really close, we can go ahead get about a half drop to come off from the burettes, and then spray a little bit of DI water. So yeah, that's pretty pink. You can put a white piece of paper to make sure that it is at the equivalence point. Okay, even though we have this at a pretty good point, an example of what happened, how significant one drop can be if you go past, can show you. Yeah, so it turns super pink, and that can play a pretty big difference to see the difference between 0.1 mils or not. So, okay, now we're finished with our titration. So make sure we pour the final amount on the burette. That will when we subtract this final from our initial, we can see how much titration we put into the flask. So we do that so we can determine the exact concentration of NaO.